second half of Samson and Delilah this morning. So last week we looked at the first part of the story. Samson falls in love with this woman named Delilah, and he is deceived by her into telling her what the source of his strength is. He ends up telling her that he's a Nazarite from birth, which means he's taken his vow to God to not ever drink wine or anything from the grapevine, not cut his hair, and not be around a dead body. So he ends up, after 4 times, telling Delilah the source of his strength is this vow that he's given to God, and that if his hair were ever cut, that he would lose his strength. So that's what happens. At the end of the lesson last week, we saw Delilah had someone come in and cut his hair, and then the Philistines came in and captured him after that. So that's where we're left, leading into this week's lesson. So we'll pick up in Judges chapter 16. And we'll read the passage verses 21 through 31. Then the Philistines took him and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza. They bound him with bronze fetters, and he became a grinder in the prison. However, the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaken. Now the lords of the Philistines gathered together to offer a great sacrifice to David their God, and to rejoice. And they said, "Our God has delivered into our hands Samson our enemy." When the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, "Our God has delivered into our hands our enemy, the destroyer of our land, and the one who multiplied our dead." So it happened when their hearts were merry that they said, "Call for Samson, that he may perform for us." So they called for Samson from the prison and performed for him, and they stationed him between the pillars. Then Samson said to the lad who held him by the hand, "Let me fill the pillars which support the temple, so that I can lean on them." Now the temple was full of men and women. All the lords of the Philistines were there, about 3,000 men and women on the roof, watching while Samson performed. Then Samson called the Lord, saying, "O Lord God, remember me, I pray. Strengthen me, I pray, just this once, O God, that I may with one blow take vengeance on the Philistines for my 2 lives." And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars which support the temple, and braced himself against them, one on his right and the other on his left. And then Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." And he pushed with all his might, and the temple fell on the lords and all the people who were in it. So the dead that he killed in his death were more than he had killed in his life. And his brothers and all his father's household came down and took him, and brought him up and buried between Zorah and Eshtaol, in the tomb of his father Merrell. He had judged Israel 20 years. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your word, that we can come together, Lord, that we can study. We thank you for this country that we live in, that we can come together freely, Lord, without fear of persecution, without fear of our government. We pray that you'll help us to take advantage of this time, Lord. Help us to learn from your word. Help us to learn from one another. In Christ's name. So the Philistines finally capture Samson. They've been after him probably 20 years now. They wanted to capture Samson. So we're 20 years after the events of 2 weeks ago when we looked at Samson and his first wife. Between that time, Samson has judged Israel for 20 years. And you can imagine there are many more stories similar to what we've read, where Samson has killed Philistines or raided Philistines. We just don't have that documented. So they finally capture him, but they don't kill him. Why don't they kill him? So they decide they can use him for work. They can make sport of him. They can humiliate him, just as he's humiliated the Philistines for however many years. Burning down their crops, killing 1,000 of them by himself. Many other things, like I said, that we probably don't even see in the Bible that he did to them.
They enjoyed torturing him for the way that he had done to them over the years.
Yeah, so they wanted revenge, right?
It was enjoyable.
It was enjoyment, it was torture. they enjoyed getting back at this man who they had not been able to get a hold of because of his superhuman strength that God gave him. Samson was a thorn in their side. During that 20 years that Samson was a judge, they still ruled over Israel. But they just couldn't capture Samson. They couldn't rule over Samson. So what's the first thing they do when they capture him? They don't kill him, but what do? Cut his eyes out. Why do they cut his eyes out? Are the eyes the source of his strength?
I think I read somewhere in the lesson where that was something that they commonly did. I'm not sure.
We have a couple of instances in Bible where a town, they had a great tree that they would come in and go dry eye out. And then Saul, he would do, maybe Saul had to do whatever and say,
So it wasn't the source of his strength, it was actually probably the opposite, probably the source of his weakness, right? And his biggest weakness was what we saw. So the source of strength, you would think, would make sense they cut off his arms. Why don't they cut off his arms? Because this man that they knew was strong at once, they just defeated them so many times. John's already alluded, they weren't into work. How much would he be able to work? They cut off his arms. How much more trouble would he be?
There's kind of an idea here too, I never thought of this, that, like I said, Brown, the hill of prison, he like, did the being on a craft horse, on a horse or an animal.
Right. Right. Yeah. But he didn't have his arms. He still had human strength, right? He was still strong. He still had human strength, so he could still pull the plow or whatever it is that cuts up the grain, right? Also, he'd be a burden. This man that has no arms, he wants to feed himself, somebody can feed him. So cut off his arms, the source of his strength, just poses more burden for them. So they gouge out his eyes. Without his eyes, he's less likely to be harmful to anybody, even if he gets his strength back, because he can't see who's fighting against. He can't see what's coming at him. So they end up gouging out his eyes. They put him to work, grinding grain in prison. So Samson, from what we've seen of him, probably was a stubborn man. I'm guessing he probably didn't work without a fight. So I imagine that he took many, many beatings before it was determined that he was actually going to do what they told him to do. So some time passes, we don't know how long, but we know it does say that his hair started to grow back. And he's brought before the Philistines with the goal of humiliating Jerusalem. Probably they've done this before, if I had to guess. It probably wasn't the first time. He's brought before the Philistines so they can have some fun at his expense. So during this time, Samson's reigned over Israel for 20 years as a judge. Where are all the Israelites? Here. Just like they were 20 years ago, right? They weren't going to help him 20 years ago when the Philistines came to capture him, even when he had this superhuman strength. So why would they help him now? So it tells us that Samson did perform for them. I don't know anything about the history here. I'm not a history buff. Anybody know what kind of performing they talked about or they did in that time? I'm curious. Whatever it was must have been exhausting because he convinced the servant that was leading him around, that was his eyes for him, to find this pillar so that he could lean up and rest against the pillar. So whatever he was doing probably was exhausting. I don't know if it was fighting some kind of animal, if it was fighting some other man. Whatever it was, he was exhausted. The servant leads him up, puts him against this post. And at this point, this is where we see Samson call out to God. He pleads out to God to strengthen him one more time. But to me, the reason that he asked for that is interesting. Why does he plead for God to strengthen him one more time? Vengeance for his eyes. does not cry out to God to let him destroy the Philistines in the name of the Lord. Not to bring glory to Yahweh, but to bring vengeance on himself. I think that's very interesting that we don't see any sense of repentance from Samson in that time. Yet, what does God do? What's God's response? God still answers his prayers. God grants him the request, even though there's a motive that's not all about God. Why do you think God granted him that request? Is it for Samson? Is it for Samson's vengeance for his eyes? What does it say the Philistines were saying about Samson? The Philistines were cheering. They were going on saying that this victory was a victory because of their God. And so if there's anything we've seen from the history of the Israelites up until this point, if there's anything we've seen that makes God mad, what is it? Idolatry. Worshiping other gods. Other gods that don't exist. God makes God angry. And so at this point, even though Samson and God probably have very different motives, God grants Samson that request. And allows him to have that strength so that he can knock down the temple of the tree that they're in. So the text we're left with in the Scripture doesn't give us any hint that God had mercy on Samson. Doesn't give us any hint that God did this for Samson. And I think that's very telling because we've seen that not only in other Scriptures, but actually pretty recently in Judges. God had mercy on the Israelites. Just a few weeks ago, we looked at the first time the Israelites came under the control of the Philistines. They went off and they started sinning again, started worshiping other gods. And this was the time God had basically had enough. This was the time that God said, they cried out to God to save them, and God said, no, go cry out to the gods that you've been worshiping. Let those gods forsake you, if they're so good. And so, in that instance, the Israelites actually turn away from the idolatry. And what does it say God's reaction to that was? Once they turned away, and they were, it said he could bear Israel's misery no longer. So even though the Israelites as a whole, all the people, were worshiping these idols, when they turned away, when they repented and turned back to God, God said he could bear their misery no longer. We don't see that with Samson. We see no sign that Samson was repentant about the sin that he had done. It looks in the passage like he's got one motive and Yahweh has another. Right? So God, just as he did with Samson, God can use us, God can use others, even when our motives don't align. So just because we see something happen doesn't mean that God agrees with somebody's actions or our actions.
Well, like Jacob, in a way, Jacob is contrary to, deceiving ways of God's word.
Very much.
It's been studying Judges for a while, which I know, it's been long since I did. You'll probably run off the verse, it's the last verse in the book. It says, during this time, it's very paraphrased, during this time there was no king in Israel. Every man did what was wrong in his own eyes. Not that they really needed a king, God was their king. They weren't really heeding these judges all the time. Good judges.
The judges basically judged, right? They didn't do much leading. All they did was judge on matters. So they didn't lead the Israelites. So Samson was a man of power, both physically and socially. But none of that mattered when the sin that he committed with Delilah got in between his relationship with God. I think that's the same for us today. If we allow our sin to get in between us and God, it doesn't matter if we're coming to church on Sunday. It doesn't matter if we're a Sunday school teacher, if we're a preacher, if we're a deacon, or an elder's wife, or whatever we are. whatever our position is in the church, in the community, it doesn't matter what that is. If our sin is coming between us and God, and we're not repentant, then God's going to hand us over to our sin.
The closest thing I see to any repentance was in his cry out to God. He says, "Oh Lord God, remember me." That's the closest thing you have of any repentance there.
He is listed in Hebrews, the 11th chapter,
Yeah.
as a man of faith. So, we don't need
Right. And the 20 years, right? 20 years between the events that we read about. So we don't know. Obviously, we recognize in Hebrews as a man of faith. There was something about his life and the way that he lived his life that was pleasing to God at some point.
Well, he had been asking Cory or even Rebecca, he said, go ahead, just don't need to, that's not asking you to live, but what you're thinking, you're paying your warrior, and he wanted one last chance to take out as many more people as he could.
Right. So if we look at Samson's sin, his last sin, not to sin is sin, and we should always try not to commit sin, but I think this story of Samson teaches an important lesson about sin that we see from the Old Testament as well. It's this distinction between committing the sin and letting that sin come between you and God. We looked last week at the example of Samson in Gaza. When he went to Gaza, he met up with a prostitute. Obviously, his weakness was for women. He was this man's man. I assume with all this superhuman strength that he had, probably came a little extra testosterone. And so he fell in love with women. He loved women. That was his weakness. And so we saw last week in Gaza, he went and met with this prostitute. But what did we talk about happened last week? Right after that sin that he committed. As soon as he did that, that same night, what happened? So somehow God allowed him to know that the Philistines were coming at him. God allowed him to know that they wanted to kill him that night. So God kicked him off. However, he was able to go take the gates and take the gates out of there. So not to say that his sin was okay, but he didn't let that sin that night come between him and God. He was evidently repentant. We don't read about that because we have a few little verses about the incident. But obviously he was repentant and he turned back to God, and then God was with him. With Delilah, we see again he was apparently having a sexual relationship with her outside of marriage. We see no indication that they were married like he was with the first person. So his issue with Delilah wasn't simply just the physical sin that he was committing with her. His issue with her was that he became so in love with her, so in lust with her, that he let his guard down. He let that relationship with her break this decades-long vow that he had made with God. That he kept up. At this point, I imagine he was probably 35, 40, if not older. So all those years, he kept this vow. He not ever drank alcohol. He not ever cut his hair. And he not ever been around a dead body, which is just a pretty difficult thing to do, probably. Yes, that's true. That's interesting. So, to me, this is the biggest lesson I think we came from. Yeah, they were dying. Everyone's saying. So Samson let his guard down. Right? He let his guard down. This vow that he had, that he kept for so long, and God had blessed him because of it. Now, just because of this relationship with this one woman, all that is gone away. That's, to me, the biggest lesson we gain, I think, from the Old Testament. Regardless of what our sin is, regardless of what our weakness is, that sin can be forgiven. But we can choose, like Samson, we can choose to let that sin define who we are. We can choose to not call that sin and not turn back to God, or just continue on in our lives, going to church on Sunday. Just because we're coming to church doesn't mean that we're living the right life. Or we can do what Samson did in the first case. He didn't let that sin define him after that sin with the prostitute. He went back to God, and he conquer the Philistines again in their example. We look in the New Testament at Acts chapter 3, verses 18 and 19. It says that this is how God fulfilled what he foretold through all the prophets, saying that his Messiah would suffer. Repent then and turn to God so that your sins may be wiped out, that times of refreshing may come from the Lord. So notice what that verse does not say. It does not say, come to church on Sunday and your sins will be forgiven. It does not say, go help others and be nice and be good and your sins will be wiped away. It does not say, ignore your sin and turn to God and your sins will be wiped away. It says repent. It talks about repenting. We see that throughout the Old Testament. Repentance is a key part of coming to God. So what does it mean to repent? What does that repentance entail? Not only turning your back on sin. First thing, you just look at, Google it. It says, repentance is feeling or expressing sincere regret or remorse about your wrongdoing or your sin. So we have to acknowledge the sin. That's one of the things we have a hard time doing sometimes, is acknowledging our sin. We have to recognize that we shouldn't be doing those things. We can't just come to church. We can't just continue to do good works for God and pretend like the sin that we're living in is okay. We have to acknowledge that it's sin. That doesn't mean the sin goes away. It doesn't mean we stop doing it. We still have our weaknesses, just like Samson had. He continually fell into this weakness for women. As long as he turned back to God and turned away from that sin, God was with him. But when he let that sin get between him and God, let that sin come between their relationship. Another example in the New Testament, we look at Luke chapter 13, verses 1 through 5, to see what Jesus himself says on the topic. Now there were some present at the time who told Jesus about the Galileans whose blood Pilate had mixed with their sacrifices. Jesus answered, do you think that these Galileans were worse sinners than all the other Galileans because they suffered this way? I tell you no, but unless you repent, you too will all perish. Or those 18 who died when the Tower of Siloam fell on them, do you think they were more guilty than all the others living in Jerusalem? I tell you no, but unless you repent, you too will perish. But Jesus himself tells us we can't compare our sins to other sins and act like we're better than other people. We can't compare our sins and not repent of those sins. We still have to turn away from those sins. We still have to acknowledge that our sin is just as bad as any other sin. That somebody out there that we're looking at judging, their sin is the same as ours. And he says it very plainly, it's very clear. If you don't repent, then what happens? You will perish. That's what we see in the example of Samson. We see no sign of repentance for this last sin of Delilah, that sin that came between him and God. So rather than God delivering him from the hand of the Philistines, which he had done time and time again, even after Samson sinned, God allowed Samson to die into his sin with the Philistines. That's what I have for the last. You might have any comments, Mark?
I think that, throughout the Old Testament, I think it's it has to be God's plan that people that he uses, people that he works through, they don't have that pedigree life. They're sinners, they're bad sinners. And all sinners are bad, But, if you look at the story of Samson, and we don't have his whole life. What John said is very true. He had to have done something right to be listed among the folks that he was listed with in Hebrews. So he had to have done something right. But it's such a dark story. The life, as far as what we get out of Judges, it's a very dark story. And it's just, as you stated, it's, we're not, none of us are so bad that God can't work through us or with us. And I think it's just an extremely important message. And I also think it's amazing it's amazing to me how God looks at sin versus how we look at sin. Because I read these few chapters multiple times, and every time I read it, I'm like, I don't know. I was just it was amazing that here's a guy that's messing around with women, and I don't know if I'm looking at it wrong or not. I mean, to me, he committed suicide, and that's something we don't want to ever talk about because everyone who commits suicide supposedly is damned to hell, and I don't know if that's the case here. I mean, I don't know. That's another subject for another day. But it's just amazing how much is in this story and how society looks at sin and how God looks at sin. And I think it's different. And I think we need to keep reading the Bible and get more on God's side of how we look at things.
Well, I mean, ultimately, God looks at our hearts. And that's one thing that we don't have access to and looking at other people necessarily. I mean, we can kind of, when we get to know people, kind of understand their hearts, but God knows exactly where our hearts are. I mean, and look at all the things David did. I mean, and God still said he was man after his own heart. So it's your heart and where you are. And, even if that was, being that was Samson's weakness as women, it doesn't, they don't talk about where his heart was or where his repentance was, or if he did or if he didn't. I mean, we don't have that information. So there's nothing that says that he didn't feel remorse for what he had done, and he didn't turn back to God. And they were saying that he was faithful. So.
Two things. One is, he's listed in Hebrews as being faithful. When you look at everything that was done in there, he was faithful throughout all of it, even though it looks like he wasn't. The reality is, his hair was grown long, he didn't do any of the things that from birth he was not supposed to do. He knew his strength came from that, he knew his strength came from God. He was faithful throughout all of this. But, as all of us are, even us, those who are faithful, we all have our own problem, our own sin, the thing that causes us to sin. And obviously his had to do with his strength and with women and those kind of things that played into his physical downfall in life. But throughout all of it, I don't see that he ever wavered in his faith. I mean, he ruled for 20 years or whatever and did all these things. Never once did he break that vow because he knew it came from God and he trusted in him for all those things. And that's what faith is about, not doing everything perfect, not falling down. And the fact of the matter is, he fell down and he fell down major. And if you look at David and you look at all these others, look at Abraham. I mean, he was faithful, but he didn't trust God to not take care of his wife when he chipped her out twice, every single person in the Bible shows, even though they were faithful and trusted God day by day by day, they still had their weaknesses. And in those weaknesses, two things happen. That's the second one. One is the results of those carried on in life. You see that throughout the Old Testament and everywhere, whatever, which is a lesson for us. But the other thing to remember is, in those same instances, like Paul says in Romans 8:28, God uses the good, bad, and ugly. It doesn't matter what it is. He uses it to accomplish his purpose. He knew who Samson was going to be before he created him. But he created him and put him in place. And the Bible says, in order to begin the defeat or the following of the Philistines. And that's what he did. As a matter of fact, one of his first instances was wrong, and it says right in there that God used it. He knew what he was going to do. I think it's in the 4th verse of one of the chapters or something. And so we need to remember that faithfulness is about staying, trusting to God even when you sin and you fall. Obviously, when you abandon that and you just go into wholesale actions and sin or whatever, then you've lost that faithfulness. It doesn't appear that he did, and we all, I think, struggle with this same thing. Whatever each and every one of our own problems may be, we have those same
Any thoughts? Good.
I was thinking about that verse when he said, remember me. And you wonder what that is really saying there. I recall a verse in the scriptures where the thief on the cross said, remember me. So I'm thinking, remember me that I do love you and I try to make my best, even though I was calling that verse, and what does that really mean to remember?
Doesn't sound like he was at one point faithful,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
If not still, he was at one point faithful.
yeah.
Yes, Mark.
I mean, I have had folks ask me about, they've had a loved one commit suicide, and they've asked me about the example, about Samson. And I honestly don't know how to answer that one, because what was presented to me was, well, God helped Samson commit suicide, so how can that be? And I don't know if I can, I don't know how I look at that, because I also don't really look at a guy jumping on a grenade to, save a bunch of people, or doing something, an act to save a bunch of people, necessarily as suicide. But it's come up multiple times in my life, and I don't know, I'm just, for anyone out there that maybe has a thought on it, it's been brought up a couple times to me about, well, God helped Samson do that. And I don't have an answer or really know what to say about that. I just wonder if anyone else out there did.
Well, goes back to the fact, where is the scripture?
Say again?
Where is the scripture? The Old Testament is the giving of the Ten Commandments, the break. The interpretation of it is, thou shalt not commit murder. And there is no place that I have found where the Bible condemns suicide. I find no scriptures in it. We see Saul, we see time after time in places of scripture. And it is, murder is the taking of the innocent life. And I don't see a place in the scripture.
I mean, as far as what I've heard, and again, my jury's still out on it, but, where your body's the temple of God, you're not supposed to destroy or hurt the temple, which means you're not supposed to hurt yourself. I think that's where the great majority of the folks get the understanding that suicide is wrong.
I think the point there is what makes that different than any other thing, for your hurting the temple.
I don't know the answer to that, but I firmly believe that Samson wasn't committing suicide. He was taking out the Philistines in revenge for himself and God, because they were serving the other God. It was for the other purpose, which in the same sense cost him his own life. Just like the man throwing himself on a grenade, he's doing it for another individual, for something else. It was not suicide, even though he ended up killing himself. So there's a lot of difference in that because of the purpose of the action or whatever there. In Samson's case, he got himself killed, and he knew he was. As many people do who recognize when they jump out and do something to save or whatever, that they need, or kill somebody or do whatever, in war or whatever the situation may be, recognizing they may lose their life in the process. I don't think he committed suicide, quite frankly. I think he was taking the Philistines out with one last straw. And that was his whole purpose there, and in the process, knowing that he would die too.
Cory, I never did see that as suicide either. I think that he just it became a time in his life where he did ask if he could go when he did that. But what's the difference with that with somebody that's terminally ill and they're suffering and they ask God to take them? That's not suicide. He did the same thing. He asked God to take him.
Yeah, but God gave him the strength, but Samson did perform the action that ended his life. That's I guess where my hang up is God gave him the strength to do it, and he did it.
We also,
So what was he asking for? He was asking for God to allow him to give revenge on the Lord. He wasn't asking for God to kill him.
He said, let me die.
He says, allow me to die with him. So he's asking God. He's saying, I'm miserable. I can't see. I'm under their control. I don't have my strength. Give my strength one time so that I can get revenge for myself.
it was an act of war. What he did was an act of war.
Yes, sir.
Two instances I think of. You take the Philippian jailer. The Philippian jailer was about to commit suicide. But he went from suicide to salvation in Acts 16. You take another example of Judas. What did Judas do? Judas repented and went out and hung himself. It's the motive why you do that. And a lot of people are mentally shocked because of the events and things that happen in their lives. So you can't judge. You can look at what the Bible says. Same thing with Samson. Samson's example is God used him for vengeance, for payback on the Philistines. If he wanted to stop it, God could have stopped it. Same thing with him. Everything that happened in his life, God could reveal to him and told him because he had the Holy Spirit. He had the power. God could have stopped it, but God allowed it. Gave him, because it was God's choice in using him. But with Philippian jailer, that's a good example right there. From suicide to salvation.
And I think that's my point with what you just got done saying. We don't need to sit back and judge. And I mean, that's something that, I mean, years ago in my life, I think I was a very judgmental person. And it seems like the more I read, the more I study, the more I realize I'm not looking at this like God looks at it. Because like I said, I mean, if you look at Samson's life, just with what the short chapters that we got here, you'd think, man, this guy's really messed up. But he had to, and like Scott said, the man was faithful for his entire life, yet he screwed up. But he was faithful, or else he would not have been listed with the folks in Hebrews. So I think that's another lesson that we need to get out of it is we don't need to be judgmental or judge. That's God's job, because we don't know.
Just one thing I want to say. You can't even say the word sin without I in the middle. Think about that.
So I think the bottom line there is, yes, it's God's job to judge. It's not our job to judge. We see the same thing throughout the life of Samson. Our job is to be repentant of our own sins, to take care of our own sins, not to be judgmental of others. Next week we're going to continue Judges in the next chapter.